Today, we're going to be answering a question that we get all the time from our clients. What is Zoho MCP? In brief, it's essentially a way for you to connect your AI platform into the business applications that you have set up inside of Zoho or set up inside of other platforms. So today we're going to be going through at a high level kind of the structure of an MCP, some of the things you can do with it, and then we're actually going to open up the application and I'll show you some of that initial configuration and a few things to keep an eye out for. This is going to be part of kind of a multi-video series that we're going to be going through a couple use cases and ways that we use MCPs internally. So we wanted to just set the stage initially to make sure that we're all kind of using the same language as we go through those topics. So with that, let us jump right on in. The first thing I wanted to answer, separate from like Zoho MCP, is what is an MCP? So an MCP is essentially what's called Model Context Protocol. It's essentially a uniform way for an AI tool, commonly like, chat-based in something like ChatGPT or Claude, to interact with data sources, right? Where a data source here is like your CRM, your ticketing system, maybe your analytics platform, in a structured way so that it kind of knows what it's doing to push and pull data from those platforms. I like the way that this website, modelcontextprotocol.io, states it, that it's basically like a USB-C port for AI applications, right? So a standardized way to connect AI tools into your systems. If we look at their little flowchart here, this is essentially it. It just sits in the middle between things like your AI platform and where the data lives that you want that AI tool to interact with, right? And it essentially just allows the AI platform to not be operating in a bubble, not have to make assumptions, and be able to help you at a higher level than just asking it questions in a vacuum, right? Without access to your data. Now, looking at Zoho MCP in particular, one of the cool things here with this product is that it ties into so many different Zoho applications, right? So inside of one MCP, you can get your project's data, CRM, desk, your books, inventory. Really, almost every Zoho app is essentially supported via Zoho MCP. For those who are a bit more nerdy in the room, essentially what it's doing is wrapping up the REST API, right? So if I know that in CRM, I can use the search records API, I can safely assume that inside of MCP, I can have my AI tool use the search records API. Some of the ways that you'll see this start to pop up in your system, things like in your sales flow, right? Updating deals, doing follow-ups, logging meetings that have occurred, in your marketing, generating reports, kicking off workflows, kind of testing and optimizing content. Support is a big one, being able to run through and summarize ticket data. One of the things that's always tricky about tickets is that they are typed by human beings. And so it's kind of tough to pull reports on them because you don't always have like specific words where you can do like an if it contains this, right? Or maybe there's typos and things like that. So they're notoriously tricky to report on using traditional methods. And then, of course, kind of your finance data, generating invoices, doing payments, logging expenses, that can save quite a lot of time. Essentially, what it looks like behind the scenes down here is like you as a user ask the AI for something, create me a lead. It essentially starts to check inside of the MCP to understand, well, how do I do that? What's the module called? What do I need to provide? Then the MCP tool gets executed, right? So this, again, for the nerds in the room, you can recognize that this is essentially just an API endpoint, an API method, and then a set of instructions. And then lastly, it comes back and tells you if it worked, right? So, I hit an issue. You have a required field called industry, and I don't know what industry this is, right? Or it comes back and says, yay, I succeeded. Right? So we're going to have some more videos where I'm actually going to set up an MCP and do these type of actions together with you. But just so you know, fundamentally behind the scenes, it's really just taking your natural language request and translating it into an API call. That's really all it's doing behind the scenes. So let's actually jump into MCP and take a look at how you actually set one of these servers up. Two ways to do it. One, you can build your own MCP server. Or two, you can use one of their pre-configured servers. We're going to build our own today, but really what the pre-configured servers are is a baseline and a template with some pre-configured tools. So we're going to go into depth in what a tool is and how it's very similar to like an API endpoint or a method. But you can, of course, start with these pre-configured servers, right? When I've set them up so far, I always go and make my own, but that's because I know exactly what I'm trying to do with it. If you don't really know where you want to start, these can be a good place to kind of dip your toe in. The one thing I will say, and you're probably going to get tired of hearing me say this video after video, you want to be careful with giving these things the ability to create, update, and delete data, right? Like as you're getting started, I recommend doing some testing with read only. So get me a deal, summarize my pipeline, pull me some data about tickets, just because these do sometimes require a bit more instructions and definition to do a good job at creating data. And obviously, deleting data is just something that you want to be extremely careful with, whether it's a user permission or a permission for, an AI tool using an MCP. Before we jump in and actually create our MCP server here, I do have to ask, if you find the video useful so far, be sure to like and subscribe down below. Leave me a comment with any questions, feedback, or examples of how you are using an MCP for your process. And as always, head on over to Zenatta.com and click on Book a Meeting if you'd like to talk about how we can help you with your Zoho implementation. With that, let's jump in. We're going to go ahead and create an MCP server. We're just going to call this our pipeline viewer in this case. Nope, it doesn't want a space, so we'll go like that. Now, first thing we're going to do with an MCP server is define the tools that it should have access to, right? So here, if I go ahead and click on Add Tools, we're going to start with CRM. Now, you can have multiple applications inside of one MCP server. So far, when I've set these up, I've generally split them. So inside of our Zenatta instance, I have an MCP server to access CRM, and then separately, I have another MCP server to access Creator. I was finding some issues with a bit of like getting wires crossed when I had both of them managed in one server. Genuinely, leave me a comment on how you've been doing that, because in a perfect world, running it all through one server seems like it would be the best option. But just so far for me, I've found splitting by application has worked best. But I genuinely am interested in how other people are, using this. But so here, we'll go ahead and set up Zoho CRM. And now we get our tools. Now, what you'll notice is by application, there's different tools, right? That basically supports the different API endpoints that exist. Now, this is a bit overwhelming when you get started. You see there's 999 different tools that you can enable for CRM. What I'm going to tell you is that you don't need all of them. You actually want to have the least amount of them possible to satisfy the use case of whatever you're trying to build. Reason is that basically means that you're giving less room for the AI to make a bad assumption, right? So here, I'm going to come in and I'm going to add a few of them that I use all the time. So one, search records, right? This is a must-have. It has to be able to go and look for things. So this is where I say, hey, how is our engagement going with client A? Well, I need to let it use that client A name and search my CRM to find the tasks, the hour logs, the emails, everything that we're doing with that client. Another one that you definitely want is get record by ID. This is a classic. Actually, this is called get record in here. So this is basically where it's going to do that search. It's going to find the account, but that search might not return all of the data about that account. So I need to let it do a secondary API call to get the full packet of data about a particular record that I want to interact with. So get record, you're going to be using a lot of the time. Another important one is get related lists. So, okay, I've found my account. Now I want to get the deals related to that account. I want to get the tasks related to that account. So getting related lists, very commonly used. And actually what we want to do is get related records, pardon me. This would be like the metadata API. This would be for the actual data that's associated with that particular module. Now, some of the other ones that you may use over time are things like create records, right? Again, be careful with this, because if you've not set up the AI tool with the correct parameters and instructions, it might create some stuff that you don't want it to create, right? So be really intentional and careful with that one. But for now, we're going to start with those three, and we're going to click Add Now, because now we basically have these tools configured inside of this MCP. Next thing you're going to need to do is go to Connect. This is where you'll actually get your server URL. This is what you're going to hand to the AI tool. And I will tell you, it's very easy to do this. So this video will refresh in a second here, but you're basically just going into the connectors tab inside of, I think about this in Claude primarily. You're going to connectors, you're clicking add a new connector, and then you're giving it a name and just putting this URL right in there. And that's really all you need to do. Again, we're going to have a video where I do some of this on the Claude side to show you, but the actual setup of the MCP itself is very easy inside of Claude. It's just copy pasting this URL. Make sure you never share this URL with anybody. The little asterisked out part here is like an auth token, essentially. So you want to make sure this stays completely private. They also do have instructions in here for many popular platforms. Again, I found it does work best in Claude. I've tried setting it up in GPT. It's a little buggier. Claude, it works like a charm. It's like no issues at all. Next thing here is connection. This is a very important tab. So there's two ways to do connection here. This is going to get a little bit technical, but I will give you kind of the takeaway at the end. So there's two ways to do connection. There's authorization on demand. This is what you would use as a default. Basically, what authorization on demand is that when a user goes into Claude and they make a request of Claude that necessitates using the MCP, it's going to do a little pop-up and have that user log into their Zoho account through Claude to connect based on their individual permissions, right? So an important thing here is that when you're using authorization on demand, then MCP is basically going to inherit the permissions of the user that is using it, right? So in a case where maybe you have your sales team and they're only allowed to see the deals that they own, right? If I do authorization on demand, that will inherit, right? And I'm only going to be able to see the deals that I have access to. If I'm a manager, I can see my deals and my subordinates' deals, and so on and so on. So when in doubt, use authorization on demand. Now, the other side here is authorization via connection, right? So this basically means whichever user set up the MCP server is going to lend their permissions to everybody else, right? Now, you might be thinking, when would I ever do it that way? That seems a little bit funky. An example would be, I'm setting up something inside of Zoho Analytics where I'm going to pull some really clean data into an analytics account. And in my case, I don't want to add all my users to that analytics account. And I know that everything I've pulled in there is fine to share with everybody. So in my case, I might do authorization via connection just to not have to deal with managing the analytics permissions. But honestly, even in that case, authorization on demand is just going to keep you safer. Just add them as view-only users to that workspace and do it that way. Pretty rare that you want to be using authorization via connection. It's kind of the short story. Now, the only other caveat there is that authorization on demand does require that a user has API access enabled in their user profile, right? So if you're inside of something like CRM and we go to our settings here and we look at the profiles is where this would be stored. Something like my basic user all the way down here at the bottom, you need to have API access enabled in order to use authorization on demand, right? So that is a door that you are technically leaving open. Now, an important thing to keep in mind is that API access respects my general module and data access permissions, right? So if I have API access, but I don't have the ability to delete leads, I can't do it via MCP either, right? It is the same access that you've already permissioned them. But it is just important to note, if you turn on API access, that could technically mean that a employee at your company writes a script in Python somewhere and does something in CRM. So if you're going to go through and set up MCP, and if you're going to turn this on for particular users, you need to be really intentional about all the rest of the permissions that they have, right? And it's something that, honestly, if you ask a lot of people who are like security experts, they would be very, very, very concerned with you turning this on, right? So just be aware, because MCP is kind of in the early stages of rolling out. And by the way, this is kind of a problem that exists on almost every software platform right now, is that MCPs require API, and you're just kind of hesitant to turn that on at a profile level, right? So that is one of those areas where authorization via connection might make sense in some cases, where you're saying, like, for me, I might come in and set up a user that is view only on everything. It can't create, it can't update, it can't export. It can just see like one record at a time. And then I'll have that do the authorization via connection so that I can keep this turned off for all my users. Again, genuine requests for comments below. Has anyone found the silver bullet? Right? Because in a perfect world, you would basically never use authorization via connection. You would always have people do their own OAuth into Zoho, but it's just a door that now is open because they have API access, which is not unique to MCP. That's API access in general, which is required for MCP, but it is a more broad permission set than just turning on MCP for a user. Long rant to say, generally try to use authorization on demand, but do be careful about turning on API access for your users. If you are connecting to a non-Zoho application, you'll need to set up a third-party service, just basically a separate little OAuth connector for that platform separately. Now, last but not least, inside of the logs tab, you'll be able to see every single time that the MCP server has been invoked by a user. Again, big benefit here to doing authorization on demand is these become more user specific, right? Last but not least, I do want to show inside of MCP, you do have the ability to invite collaborators. One thing I would note is that if you haven't ever accessed MCP before and you go to mcp.zoho.com, it just makes you an account, right away. And so if you and a couple other people at your organization are going to be building out these tools together, get them invited sooner than later, because it's really easy to accidentally make your own account. You can delete it pretty easily, so you can kind of bring everybody together. But just if you have a handful of people who are going to be using this tool together, just get them invited here under the collaborators section sooner than later. It just has two basic profiles right now. Admin, which is like, I have everything, or user, which is I just have the ability to use features. One important note, if somebody's going to use MCP inside of, let's say, Claude, they do not have to be a collaborator in the MCP application itself. Not required. It's just going to OAuth them directly into CRM, Desk, the working applications that they actually use. So you don't need to invite everybody in here just to get them access to using this tool inside of Claude. So with that, I think we've covered kind of the core elements here of Zoho MCP. This is kind of our step one for a series of videos that we're going to be making on this. So please do leave your questions down below, any types of use cases that you would like to see in this tool. But I wanted to just make sure that we had kind of our baseline understanding established of what an MCP is, how it works, taking a quick look at the Zoho MCP in particular, because in some of the future videos, I might just briefly mention some of these topics as we go, and I'll point back to this video. So if you're seeing it now after watching a future one, this is where a lot of that kind of nuts and bolts stuff is going to live as a good reference point for the future videos that we're going to make on this topic. So with that, as always, if you found the video useful, be sure to like and subscribe down below. That really helps us out, and it's totally free to do. Leave me a comment with any questions, or again, those kind of use case requests for MCP. I'm going to be making lots of videos on this topic. And as always, head on over to zenatta.com and click on book a meeting if you'd like to talk about how we can help you with your Zoho implementation. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.